Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Monachi, and today we're going to be talking about the forgotten traits of Blader's Rebirth. So before we get started into this video, I want to give a huge thanks to Hunter, the admin from the Blader's Rebirth Discord and mod, and a huge shout out to the community that's been super supportive of me as well. All of you guys have been absolutely incredible. I really appreciate it, and the amount of kindness and support you've shown is just insane to me. So I want to just thank everyone in my community and all the people that are in my Discord and all my friends. Yeah, I wouldn't be where I am without you guys. So I want to give you guys a big shout out. And now for this week's giveaway poll. But yeah, let's get into this video. We're going to be talking about specifically piercing, but we're also going to dip into a little bit of resistance and why they're effective and why you should consider using them in your build. So another reason why I shouted out Hunter is because he gave me this set of piercing to try out and do some tests with, and he gave me some really good advice and some information that isn't easily accessible, and I wanted to share it with you guys because I think it's really valuable. So piercing isn't actually its own damage type. Piercing is only effective against a defense stat. So when we're talking about piercing, we're going to be talking about defense types, right? So piercing will be most effective for attack and actually, if you think about it, defensive types. Because when you're using a defensive set with a alternative angle, you're become an attack type. And if you have that extra piercing against another defense set that either has alternate angle or doesn't really matter. You're doing that piercing damage while being on a defense base, so you're becoming a more effective attack type, which is incredible. That means you're going to be beating out defense types when you're in attack mode with your alternative angle. Now, for attack types, piercing trait should be on one of the parts of your Beyblade, because going against defense types is one of the weak points of an attack type Bey. Obviously, the sustain of going against a stamina type is still really difficult, and going against other attack types can be sort of a toss-up whether you win them or not, because you're both kind of glass cannons. But against defense types, having just one part that has piercing effectively doubles your damage, depending on the defense stat, obviously. And I was giving this some test outs with an Atronador set. I made a piercing Atronador top from my tests and studies of losing set bonuses. Having one piercing too powerful and then one resistance seems to be the perfect split of sustained damage and effectiveness with piercing. So when you're using one part that's piercing, it means you're extra effective against Beyblades that run defense, right? And defense is a meta right now, right? Everyone's switching. This is why it'll be super powerful for both attack types and defense types to be running it. When you look at it even more, I guess, under a telescope, you're setting yourself up to counter a really effective meta right now, whether or not you're a defense or attack type. That's a really powerful thing to have. Now, stamina types don't really care about piercing at all, because they're not doing damage like defense and attack. They're sustaining, so their attacks already go through defense. I don't really need to worry about it. Like Siphon just disregards defense, and they have their own sustain heal like Buddha and stuff, and regen. But having this one part on piercing will make your Beyblade significantly more effective against defense types. Now, you are sacrificing in the long run, like one more part with powerful, which, 30% roughly extra attack is rough. But when you're going against another attack type, which is the situation that you may think you need more power for, it's not really about power in that scenario. I've beaten full T5 Atronador power sets with common traits. What it is specifically timing your parry and your flame claw at the right times. Like, the parry will win you the game. That's just how that fight goes. So going against attack types is already pretty shaky. So you don't really need that extra power. unless you have like range flame claw, which is a super, unique build. But it's pretty good. I've run against it. It's really hard to beat. It's true. But that's also part of the prediction of going into a fight. So I'd rather sacrifice that 30% power I'd get from that one part for 45% of guaranteed piercing damage against the meta that you find in PvP. Now, I would say attack is pretty meta as well because it's really easy to get, right? A Trinador is one of the easiest to get high tier playsets in the game. Defense is quite hard actually to get like Spectre parts and get those traded up. I feel like a Trinador is pretty easy to get. But yeah, sacrificing that one part. I also want to talk about resistance very briefly because resistance is criminally underrated in terms of being in a set or being in a play of PvP and just grinding towers. People generally are like, oh man, I wish I got powerful on this part. Why? Like, people are kind of willing to shell out a bit more for powerful parts, but resistance is one of the most underrated traits in the game. It's sort of like looked down on because people are always like, why can't we just, get power? But when stuff like piercing and venom bite are all just disregarding defense, it becomes even more important to have resistance because resistance works against one of the most dominant abilities in the game right now, venom bite, because it goes straight through defense and it scales with defense. So defense types use it against other defense types, right? Absolutely insane damage from the venom. Absolutely insane. So resistance is definitely an underrated trait. And I just wanted to bring that up to people's attention. I think the perfect split for a Beyblade is the perfect split for an attack or defense type Beyblade. And as far as traits go, is 2 powerful, 1 piercing, and 1 resistance, right? Because resistance doesn't stack unless you're using Saint. So that's just a quick video. I just wanted to make this. Again, huge shout out to Hunter for letting me try out this piercing set and giving me lots of info and being super open and contacting some people and getting me some info that I needed. I really appreciate that. And I hope to see you guys in the next video.